Dan and Brad, what's going on this Wednesday?
Scott, thank you for the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to our first Q&A after our test drive. I hope some of you are participants in the test drive and are now subscribers. I almost want to say, obviously, that wasn't part of our question, but if you are one of those people, let us know in the in the questions panel or say something. I'm just curious. Yeah, I know, Bill. My mic is not great today. I'm on a different computer, unfortunately. So please bear with me for my sound. I'll have Brad do a lot of speaking. But at any rate, we welcome you to our Q&A webinar. This one's going to be pretty good because we're going to show you something that I think most people just have not used, but we're going to hopefully, I'm going to see if I can do something with the microphone here. Here, is this a little bit better, Scott?
That's so much better. Goodness.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot more clear. Yeah, great.
Okay, I just fixed something, so that's good. Okay, and yeah, thanks, guys. Here we go. Okay, Brad, let's start with the Q&A, and I will jump right in.
Let's do it. Yeah, guys. So this is our Wednesday Q&A. It's been a few weeks since we presented to you because, like Dan said, we just completed a test drive. So we're happy to be back with you here. Let's start off with a disclaimer. We are not a registered investment advisor. Please don't take investment advice from anybody at Trade Ideas. We're a software technology provider. We create incredible idea generation software, tools to access the market. That's what our specialty is. So we're going to talk about some symbols today. We're going to talk about some stocks. Don't take it as investment advice. Disclaimer is done.
Okay. As you guys know, you are our venture capitalists. Trade Ideas is one of the few companies in the world, in my opinion, Brad, that has zero venture capital money. And this has allowed us to develop the software at our own pace. We've been doing it now for over 20 years. And we're grateful for all of your support. Your subscriptions are our venture capital. Because of you, we succeed. And we've been on the Inc. 5000 list now for 5 years in a row. Again, I keep saying we need to upgrade the slide. And now I've said that piece probably 20 times. 5 years in a row. And remember, to be on the Inc. 5000, we are also competing with ourselves. So we have to keep doing better and better and better. And I think this speaks to the kind of response you people give us, and it's overwhelmingly positive. We're grateful for it, and we just hope that we can provide value to you. And that's what the crux of this webinar Q&A is going to be. There's going to be this thing that we're going to show you that to some extent is going to blow your mind because it's so simple, and yet I would say less than 1% of people possibly even know about it or use it. So this is an incredible piece of information that you're going to get today. Brad, let's keep going.
Yeah, so what I wanted to point out here with this slide is, guys, we have a version that you can download on our website right now. It's listed under the beta category, but it's scheduled for promotion to our production version in the next day or two. So I recommend downloading this version, 5.569. It's got our latest enhancements to the stock race. It's got the updated interface that has taken far too long to get to you guys. So all the channels that we have now have some race component to it, and it utilizes that smaller interface. So you'll get that with this version. Also, we've done a lot of great chart enhancements to the software. In addition to giving you the flexibility to put on some different background colors and gradients and change your chart types to, we had the candlestick, but you can have bar charts, you can have high-low close charts, you can have an area chart. But we've also done some other great things on the chart to give you some information in real time. Like if a stock gets halted, you can see that immediately on the chart as you pull it up. If a stock had earnings, you're going to see an earnings notification, an earnings icon on the chart, along with a little beam of light letting you know exactly which candle it was that was responsible for those earnings, or which day the earnings came out. So that's really important to the chart, gives you that real-time information. Also, we've upgraded our risk, what do we call it?
What's the risk metrics? How one of the let's talk about the risk thing, Brad, and maybe this is a good time to kind of switch to the software because
Sure.
again, we can speak to it much better in software terms. Let's do that real quick. So one of the things that, yeah, let me discuss this real quick. One of the things that we do, okay, at Trade Ideas, and you all, since you're interested in the stock market, you have to know that stock picking is less important than risk management because a winner can turn into a loser can turn into a winner. It's the risk that you manage that is the key to your success or failure. So what we do is there's an option in the software under File, Options, Preferences, Brad?
You mean
Tools,
tools,
sorry.
options?
Right,
Where?
and it's called AI Trade Size.
Yeah.
Okay, so by default, I believe this is set to 100 shares. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think everybody has it set at default right here at 100 shares, but you
So
can dial these in.
let's
Right.
switch that to 100 so that when we're doing this, everyone sees the same thing that they would see on their charts if they're looking at the software. Okay, so what happens is at whatever candle the stock is when you look it up on the intraday chart, if you have this set, and now Brad, do what you were doing before under properties. So in the properties, there's an option called show smart risk levels, okay? So what we do here by having that turned on, what you will see is if you were in the default amount, and again, remember this can be completely customized to however many shares or dollar amounts, however you trade. What is your risk to reward if the key levels are hit? And the key levels, remember, we do this for you. This is where we've talked about the separation of trade ideas. The reason why we do so well overall is because people realize we're doing things that others aren't doing. And what it is number one, we have these levels in here, like the level at the bottom. And Brad, pull up another stock, Dell Computer, just so that, or anything that people know. Apple would be just as fine. And zoom in, right? So notice that for Dell Computer, there's an option called Smart Stop. So we have this internal computer-based volatility stop level that whenever you pull it up, we tell you if you had bought right now, and this is at the candle, Brad, will you just put your mouse on where the last candle is? Like, yeah, if you bought at this level, the quote unquote volatility based stop, which is kind of like a warning, I would say. I mean, you don't necessarily have to exit there, certainly, but it's one of these things that says, you know what, right now it's behaving in this way where if you were long, it could more than likely continue lower if it goes to that level. And so what we show you is, well, what's the monetary impact to you if you were trading, in this case, 100 shares? So for Dell Computer, if you bought it right now, your risk would be $97, and your reward if it goes to the profit target level, and again, these are just high level ideas, not investment advice, would be $195. So that's your risk to reward. This is what you're shooting for.
And
Okay?
that doesn't mean you necessarily get out here, right? I mean, that's just, this is a guide and a gauge, and we're really taking the algorithm of the smart stop and doing a multiplier for the profit target. So it's really looking at the stock's, the range for the day. It's looking at its volatility, the average distance it moves over a 15-minute period of time. And then it's looking at the relative volume of the stock. So it takes an algorithm of those three different variables and comes up with what it thinks is a very smart risk level for you.
One of the things that we realize, which is difficult for people, is because most people don't trade actively or invest actively, they have a hard time understanding the implications of the trade that they make. And this is the purpose for this device, right here. And Brad, let's pull up a couple of stocks that everybody loves, like Apple, for example. We'll just go through some stocks that people know. So Apple, at the price that it is at, if you bought 100 shares right here, right, and the way that it trades, you would be starting to consider an exit if you were losing $221, and maybe a little bit of profit taking if you were gaining 462. So these are your guidelines. It's like your navigation system for profit and loss management. Brad, please pull up Netflix. again, we're just pulling up some stocks that you guys know. You know, here you're trading 100 shares of a more expensive stock, so we want you to kind of see what does that look like. So if you were literally in 100 shares of Netflix, which is a a $300 stock, you'd be risking 900 to try to make 1800, which is the proper risk management. So I ask you, as you look, and a lot of you are Trade Idea subscribers, but I want, and for a good reason, but I want you to start thinking about how this is the reason that you're Trade Idea subscribers, is because we do this for you so you don't have to do it. Now let's pull up an Amazon for the big boys.
Yeah, if you're trading 100 shares, right, that's going
Man, it's going to cost you a little bit of money.
to cost you.
But, right, but this is the idea. It's all based on you. Obviously, you can set whatever amount. And now, Brad, do me a favor and switch that to $5,000. So this way, this is the more realistic approach. So we just want to show you. We wanted to show you the default so that as you're looking at it, you would see what we see. Now we're changing the default to something slightly more appropriate. And now you're trading Amazon and risking the same amount. So at $5,000, you're basically trading a share, roughly speaking, or you can't buy two, but you see what I'm saying. Actually, I'm trying to think, Brad, if you do buy $5,000 worth of Amazon, how do you do that?
Yeah, it'll round. It'll round it down. So obviously you can only get one.
Right.
We
Okay.
don't have fractional shares with the brokers that we integrate with.
Thanks, Brad. It's a good question,
Yeah.
but this is the key component. And what we did was we made it more easily visible. We've had some of this before, but we made it better. Now it's easy to see. The data's easier to see. The numbers are easy to see. And so all of that is there for you, and we want you to take advantage of it. We want to make sure that you are aware that in this particular case, as Brad showed before, right-click properties. Brad, just go through the motion real quick. But I believe it's set by default, isn't it?
I don't know. I have to take a look. I may have turned mine off by default, but yeah, I think it may be on by default. But there are a couple of things. Like right now, we're hypothesizing this is going to be a long trade, right? So we're giving you the stop down below and the target up above. But you may want to be shorting this thing, and if you want to do that, you can just go to the smart risk levels, select the short option, and it'll invert it for you based upon all the data that's specific to Amazon. Like I said, the range, relative volume, and its volatility.
Absolutely. Okay, fantastic. So now, Brad, maybe showcase some of the things with the area charts and the colors so they can see how we're working for, guys, we are your employees. We work for you, and we want to show you how we're improving the stock so that you don't need any other software, so that you don't need the trading views and other things. And by the way, in the background, just FYI, we are working on crypto also. So you will have all of that, but here's an example of some of the things that we've done in this version that you'll be able to use.
All right, and so since we have most of the people here in this webinar are subscribers already, we can keep it a little less salesy and show you some of the techniques that are really beneficial to you. Like for instance, we integrated this docking component to our software several months back, and we have an option right here. If you go into Tools, Options, on the very first General tab here, on the Layouts tab, we have this option here to open in a docked window. Now I have it unselected, right? So that when I open up a new window, it's going to open up in a free floating mode. I can change it, do whatever I want, and then I can always throw it into a dock. But that's how I was able to launch this guy right here in a free floating mode. So like Dan was saying, we've done some chart enhancements. If I right click in the chart, we've got our context menu. The select chart style is a new option. We're going to be bringing an icon to the top of it here. But as we select the chart style, we have a couple different options. We're looking right now at an area chart. This drop down allows me to select the different chart types that we have. Candlestick is what we previously had, but we did add the line chart, the bar chart, area, high-low close, and an open high-low close. And that's what you see over here on the left side. My longer term daily chart, I've got it set up as a high-low close bar chart, very simple and easy to read and look at on a long-term basis. Personally, I like the candlesticks for my intraday, but these area charts are pretty visually appealing as well. We added this prior day close option on here so that we're notating on the chart where the prior day close was, so you can see that at a real quick visual glance. May not be as important on a daily as it is on your intraday, but that option is there. And all of these allow you to customize the colors accordingly. So for instance, if I wanted to take this area chart, change the background of it to like a dark color here, get rid of my gradient. So now I've got a kind of a dark background here. I'll change my labels so that they're a little lighter. Bring this label a little lighter.
And as Brad's saying, this one of the other things that we're going to be working on in new beta versions is templates, where Brad and I will design, like, this is a pretty template, and you'll be able to, without having to do all of this, just kind of quickly see an example and pick this type of template or another. But you have all the power, you have all the options.
Yeah, so check out this this chart property that we've created here that allows you to really customize everything. You know, if you're looking at your candlestick, you can define your up colors, down colors, your outline, your wick colors, all of that good stuff. So it gets very granular, and you can really set these charts up exactly the way that you want.
Right, and remember, Brad, switch that to intraday and then add the risk so they can see that it works. All those things work in any chart mode. So just so you can see that everything works together. And I always, Brad, I always stress this. I say, you know, we're here to give you the best technology to navigate the market. As you go through this webinar and you see what we show you, you know, honestly, compare us to other vendors that you've looked at and ask yourself, are the other vendors doing similar things? Now, of course, we have been catching up on the charts because that's not been our forte. Our forte is the real-time data analysis, but we're merging it all together. And what we're going to give you, and what we are really already giving you, is the platform of platforms. We are the venue, the place where it's the only place that you need to see market data. Okay. Brad, is there any other kind of chart that we want to show?
Well,
chart style.
You know, I think those are the chart types, but let me show you this. Let me bring in a new doc channel bar. Let me scroll down to earnings. And so these are, you know, this channel here is showing us stocks that have had recent earnings or earnings today. So if you pull up something, you know, you can see exactly, you know, this was Nordstrom had earnings yesterday, and you can see exactly where that was and how the resulting price action was affected by that.
Yeah, I want to say Sylvian just brought up something, you know, he's not on the beta. We really encourage, especially if you're at the level where you're participating in the Q&A webinar, you should be on the beta. And remember, this beta is going to be the production version very, very soon. So if you go to our website, Brad's showing you right now, it's pretty easy right here.
And just download it. It takes a second to install. And like I said, you're not really, it says beta here, but it's going to be promoted very, very soon, this very same version number. So you can have confidence in that.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the race never ends. You know, we're already in a lot of ways ahead of this beta in our development releases and things like that. But one of the things, Brad, that, you know, as you did this, I wanted to really refocus just one quick thing. People often underestimate the purpose and power of our channel bar. Remember, guys, that the channel bar is something that we continuously change because, you know, we just redid all the channels with the racing, and we're going to talk more about why it's so critical, etc. But click on BODY real quick, Brad.
Where is it?
At the very top of the race.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm
going to need to put on our aftermarket.
So what's critical about the racing, and if you've been in Barry's room, he's been he's been showing everybody. I really do believe we've completely reinvented the way you look at market data. And of course, we're so new to this that people haven't figured it out exactly yet, because if they did, I think we'd have like 100,000 subscribers in a month. But what do like people say, why do you have the racing? It's silly. What are the cars and whatever? Obviously, the car is a mnemonic to let you know that these things are in motion, okay? But what's critical about the race, guys, is that it allows you to compare multiple charts, because what you're seeing is visually, you're seeing charts, okay? Brad, go through a quick scroll of PRCH and BIDO, and you can kind of see what's happening, you know, and why they are doing what.
Keep in mind, we're after hours, so the data is not as free flowing as, you know, typically
No,
would.
of course. But what I'm saying is that from the point that we open this up, and this is the key component to everything, it's when you open things up, because that's your point of reference, we're showing you what's moving in your direction and what's not. Obviously, like, for example, BODY is cheap stock, so it's only 8 cents. And quickly, you know this already, okay? You know, because you can see that it's up 4.12%, but it's only 8 cents. It's a cheap stock, so once again, no big deal. The point I'm saying is that the feedback that we've gotten, and this is part of what we want to share with you, is that as you start looking at market data through this, and Brad, we quickly switch on Fang and Friends because it's more active stocks. And I'm also showing that what we've done here is we've created views that we know are going to be good for you, so that you don't have to do a lot of work setting things up. So obviously the Fang and Friends are popular stocks. It's the Apples, the Amazons, the Netflix, and that's why it's called. You can see what they are. And the reason they're in the particular list that you're seeing is on the top one, those are the ones that are moving up. On the bottom one, those are the ones that are moving down. And you can see like they're gearing up, they're starting, and here we go. And obviously, as Brad had said before, this is after hours. Now, one of the big updates that we've done here, notice the color of the symbol. So we know the DWAC is up from the close. How do we know this? Brad, click on it. And even though it's 5 cents, we know that it's up because it's green, whereas Netflix, which is moving supposedly a little bit higher, it's not really doing anything, is down for the day. So you can now see very quickly, right? You're able to understand, well, are you buying forward momentum or are you buying a bounce? So that's a decision that you know quickly. Like, for example, you can see on the Fang and Friends moving lower, and without looking at any charts, you know that at least based on what you're seeing here, Nike, Microsoft, Facebook, and Amazon are all stocks that are up, that are moving lower, whereas Snapple, Twitter, Lucid, and Roku are stocks that are down, that are moving lower. You're already ahead of the game. Okay, and by the way, you've done this visually without having to look at any of these charts. I want you guys to really think about the amount of data that you were able to now process without having to click and snap and look up a chart and look at an indicator. This is the next generation of analysis, because we're just giving you the information that you need to see. And once again, the disclaimer, this is post market data, so things aren't moving as much. You know, GameStop, click on that real quick, Brad. GME right there, yep. Okay, it's up for the day, but it's just moving, you know, 40 cents lower after hours. So the idea here is that instantly you know the difference between a pullback versus continuation. Ford continuing higher, Roku is reversing.
And to be fair, so this is this race here started 2.5 minutes ago. So this is the movement that's happened since you started the race. So yeah, you have to be mindful of exactly when that, you know, this data is telling you from the beginning and inception of the race, not from the beginning of the day.
Absolutely. Bill, so some of the stuff that you're talking about, Brad, I don't know if you see Bill's comment or question rather, Bill Engberg.
Yeah, changing a line color causes the line to disappear when you exit the symbol and then return to it. I'm not following.
Well, that's one of the things that I always say for the Q&A webinar, Bill and everybody else. Brad and I are here to showcase stuff that you need to be aware of. For this type of information, like with the stuff that Bill is asking, it is much better to go to the support forum because you can get our incredibly adaptive and active support team to go with you and go through all of this information. And again, show you, and if there's possibly you found a bug, you know, we fix it. But what I'm trying to say is that we typically, Brad and I, don't get into like fixes on this. I mean, we haven't been on in a long time, so we're, you know, being a little bit different today. But my point is that for these types of questions, okay, and this is not a bad question, it's a great question. This is a support. This is exactly what our support is for, and our support is bar none. We have an amazing team of support specialists who know exactly what they're doing, exactly how all this stuff works, and they can work with you through it to help resolve almost any issue. And again, if there's a bug, and possibly there could be one.
Yeah, I can't duplicate it, but yeah, shoot us an email or just pop on one of the support sessions, which we have every day during the market, which makes it a little bit easier.
So George has a question that is kind of a good question, but we want to like basically address it so that everyone knows how the races work. So George says, when a car gets all the way over, then it restarts. Well, the race, remember, is in this case, it's a 10-minute race, and you can set the races up for whatever time frame you want. You can have a minute race. We use 10 minutes because that's a good like mid-tier time frame.
You can even have a delta value. So you want the winner of the race to move 1%. So you could, you know, right here, our goal is time. Let me stop this. We could have it set on a value, and that value could be 1% on the change from the close. So there are different ways that we can set this race up. And I think one of the, you know, with respect to a car starting over, we've got this option right here to auto rerun. And with that checked right there, once it completes the race, you're going to see who won the race because you're going to see the stock appear here on the winner's lane. And then it's going to, if you have that checked, the auto rerun, it's going to start over again. And you're going to have, in this particular case, another 10-minute race. And we're going to see who wins that race. And it'll just continue and continue, you know, unless, of course, you uncheck that auto rerun.
So Jeff Parfit asked the question, can trade ideas link to any trading platform? And there's a couple of things we want to say here. Number one, we are integrated so that you can trade from trade ideas through E-Trade with zero commission and through interactive brokerage. Theirs is not zero commission, but we have two integrated trading environments. And then absolutely, we have what's called our linking feature. And that's another support question, but you can look up videos on YouTube and other things. We link to virtually everybody, including TradingView and virtually every other platform. And Brad's showing you how that's done.
So this is just an example. I'm linking to Notepad, but you know, we do this with different applications, and we have different techniques for linking depending on what we're linking to. I didn't set up the Notepad right, but yeah, right here in this window here, when you select your link, you can edit it, and this is where you can define exactly which platform you're going to be linking to. And in fact, we link to a lot of other platforms that aren't listed here as well. So, but it's a pretty robust little piece of software that allows us to really link with all these other external applications that have nothing to do with trade ideas.
Yeah, and it's a good question. And hopefully you saw, Brad, do me one more favor and bring up the list of things that we link with real quick so that you can see that we've obviously thought about this for a very long time, and so many things are available, from TradeStation to multi-charts to TrendSpider and TradingView, etc. Tons and tons of options, and that's just the ones that we list. There's the generic ones where you can create your own, as Brad did with Notepad. Okay. All right. So let's Brad, let's go back to what I was saying before, which is we're gonna peruse through a couple of the channels real quick, just so you understand like what we've done. And Brad, just follow me. So click on the S&P 500 channel.
Mm-hmm.
So we've done a symbol list with the S&P 500 so that you can quickly watch which stocks of the S&P 500 are moving in your preferred direction, up or down, in race form. And again, we believe this is the best way to do it. And I want to show you some of the power of how to really utilize this information too. So Brad, if you can, like, click on Ford, F, in the top column.
I see it there. Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't have sent you on a goose chase, Brad. Okay. So Ford has been pretty strong today for sure. Notice that we have the single stock window on the right of the charts. This has sort of your heads up display of various data points, including the fundamental data. What's the market cap? How much has it been up or down since January? Okay. It's dead. And these things are totally customizable, but these are the ones that we've selected for you to make it easy for you to quickly navigate this information. And of course, Brad, we'll go back real quick. And you can read what it is, what sector it's at. At the bottom, you see the news feed for it. And Brad, if you can click on one of the news stories that is actually about Ford, you'll see what happens. It'll bring up a browser.
I didn't look, but it looks like it is.
Yeah, there it is. So it brings up a separate browser window. Just close that up. But I want to show you something super powerful at the bottom. And there's a reason why you're only seeing BORR. No. Don't go right clicking there, Brad.
I was just checking to see how it was pulling it in.
Right. So pull up BORR and click details. Okay. Now go back to Ford. So the reason Ford, now go back to BORR and zoom out a little bit of BORR. Okay. So notice on the top left, Brad, BORR was a lot higher back in the day. See what I'm saying? Like right there, just a short time ago, or not short, but you know, a while ago. And it's rebounded quite a bit in just the last
week, right?
The last week. Now go back to Ford. So Ford has also rebounded. It's been higher, but it's rebounded over the last week. So the reason you're seeing BORR there is that this is set to pattern recognition. So let's pull up a stock like Apple real quick. Okay, and let's click on one of the other companies that we see there. And let's pull up Netflix, just again for different, I'll explain what I'm trying to get to. And so that didn't update at the bottom. See that, Brad? It should have.
Same stocks, huh?
Yeah, but so that could be something. Brad and I always find stuff that's going on. Maybe switch to, so number one, we have a couple of options here in terms of similar to SSD. So right click there, Brad, and let's just showcase what we're trying to show. One is competitors. So click on competitors real quick and go back to Ford, F. So notice you see Aston Martin, Honda. So these are industry competitors, okay? So these are other car makers, etc. But when you go to price action, what it's doing is more of a price pattern recognition and completely irrelevant of if it's in the same industry or not. It's showing you things that are similar in price action. So once again, depending on what you want to do, and in this case, we're saying, well, if you clicked on, look, let's try to click on BWA on the race. Yeah, it's not updating that field, and that looks like just something that we'll have to show support, Brad.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. Again, that's a minor thing, but the point is, it will show you the similar price pattern. So there's a very powerful, when it's working, pattern recognition engine built in here. And in this latest build, and Brad and I always have a build that's a development build. So lots of times things happen there that don't necessarily happen with you guys. But my point is, this is your real comprehensive heads up display so that you can gauge what's going on in lots of different ways. The news, of course, the industry competitors work, and in this case, when that's working properly, also the price action. Okay, so let's go down real quick and click. This is the last channel that we're going to show you in terms of, well, not the last channel, but the last race stuff that I want to discuss, which is the price and volume. So this is where, remember, Brad was showing you that you can have a race that's doing something different than just comparing prices and based on this one. The idea is that which stock is having more volume come into it. Okay, so notice the title, increasing relative volume of winners since open, 1 through 100. So these stocks are $1 through $100, and you're looking for volume as it's happening. And what it'll show you is how much volume was.
Well, we're doing it through relative volume. That's the metric that we're looking at here. So, you know, as a stock increases its relative volume, you know, that's a pretty important metric, especially, you know, as we look at a stock that has a significant value there, like a 2 or a 3, that's important. It's doing 2 or 3 times its normal volume. But, you know, when we start to see that volume increase, then it becomes even more powerful. And this is a great tool to identify that.
Yeah, and what we wanted to do in this particular channel is showcase the different ways that the racing can work. And Brad, if you right click and go to race setup, just a quick so that they can see it. Notice here, same time race, but it's just relative volume versus percentage change. But
and let me show you how I use this one, because I have, you know, something that I use during the day. I actually have this race component on my custom doc, which is linked up with my Brokerage Plus. And effectively, I've got races running throughout the day, looking at stocks that I've been trading or that are in some of my portfolios. So it's continuing to run races just based on that. And I can see, you know, the results of that. This guy right here, which was the most recent winner, has won 3 times. And so this is my kind of my victory lane here. And in the next version of our software, if I right click in here, I can get a top 10 list. So I'm going to see the stocks that have won the most, you know, the top 10 stocks that have won the most is going to be a list right here. So I have this running all day long. And when I add a position, the position automatically gets added to my top list, automatically gets added to my race, because what I'm doing here is if we go into my top list and look at my symbol list, I've got one of my symbol lists selected as my holdings, and that's one that's automatically populated by trade ideas based upon what you've got running through Brokerage Plus. I've got a couple other stock lists that I use, things that I've traded recently, or, you know, a couple other personal lists that are incorporated into that. But here's a great way to just show how you can use stock racing all the while you're doing your normal type of routine. But now very quickly I can see in my portfolio or stocks that I'm looking at which ones are really starting to move right now, because I've got this running every 10 minutes, and which one has won the most. And then I've got this volume one down at the bottom, taking a look at the same list of stocks, but letting me know which ones are increasing their volume during the day. And, you know, this guy right here has been running through all day today, both in my price action as well as my volume. And when you look at something like that on the chart, it had a really nice day. And so it all correlates together, you know, from a profitability, from the race winning, to looking at it on a chart being at the highs. So sorry, Dan, I kind of sidetracked you there, but that's kind of how I use it.
Okay. Brad, I wanted to touch base real quick on something that Ray Bishon asked Barry, you know, about can you do custom stuff? And by the way, Trade Ideas, you can do a lot of custom development with our formula editor. Barry, maybe you can send him the links to our formula editor where you can write your own formulas. Again, we don't do the kind of API stuff that you're asking, but we have an immensely powerful piece of technology that you can customize. You can do your own formulas using our filters. And of course, then we have the back tester, which is, again, something that we've discussed at length before. Yeah, this is a formula editor, the Brad's.
Well, I just added one for a customer today. He's a really good affiliate and has been using our software for a long time, and he didn't realize that we had a particular filter. It's a custom filter, and he was looking for the number of shares that have transacted over a 1 minute period of time. You know, we have this percentage, how much of the stock volume on a percentage basis happened, but in a custom filter, we've got this 1 minute volume in shares, we've got 5 minute volume in shares, we've got a whole lot of different variables that aren't in the software out of the box. So, you know, by adding this here through the custom formula editor, very quickly I can go ahead and see it visible as a column inside of one of my windows. And if I wanted to filter on it, just like any of our other tools here, if I go right click and go to configure my Windows specific filters, my 1 minute volume, I could go ahead and say and have a filter, not just display the column, but also, you know, filter it so that it has to meet a certain criteria. So now everything will be over 1,000 in my shares here, in 1 minute shares. So that's you know, there's so much in the software that's, because like Dan said, we've been doing this for 20 years and we've done nothing but continuing to add components, improve and enhance. And so there's a lot in here that a lot of people aren't aware of.
Brad, somebody, Gilbert wants to know if you can share your layout, custom layout monitor 1 or layout 2 rather. Obviously, I think this has Brad's symbol lists in there, and it's
well,
also
the symbol lists are unique to your own account. So you're not gonna, I will share this with you, you're not gonna have my symbol lists, you'll have to create your own. But effectively it'll work that way. It'll look to your My Holdings, and if you create additional symbol lists, you can have it look to that as well. So I'm just gonna right click, save or share to cloud, and I'll just drop this in the chat.
And by the way, notice how easy it is for us to be able to do that. And this is an example of how we support our customers and everything else. Okay, guys, let me, you know, we've been going so long, Brad, we're almost at the end. Brad, let's switch to the AI. This is the final part of our Q&A webinar today. Let's blow some people's minds.
Let me close this. Let me close this.
All right, so first of all, you guys know that we have the AI, which is our Robo Advisor. It's a statistically based trading engine that kind of uses, that uses our own technology, the odds maker, to help you see value in using backtesting, and it tries to show you where the statistically valid winning trades are going to be. It doesn't win every day, but it does do very well. But we're going to show you something. And by the way, Barry, you should maybe show this in the webinar. I mean, in your trading room, which we'll talk about it at the end here, and we're approaching it. But we're going to show you a mode. So lots of people get scared. You'll see what I'm saying by all this information. So these are all the trades that the AI tried to do, and they're long and they're short. And today, it wasn't a great day, but again, we've had a day where the AI set a record 28 points, and not on one stock. It was just amazingly on the right track of the right market move. But Brad, do a filter and show people a way that you can view the AI that should kind of blow your mind a little bit.
So in this filter section here, I think you're probably talking about the profitable trades option here.
Yes. So in this particular way, if you have this set to profitable, now you can say to yourself, well, wait a minute, aren't you just cherry picking? Well, remember, we're not saying you need to, first of all, trade everything in automated mode where you get into everything. I mean, you can totally use human discernment. But one thing that you can do here is that this allows you to focus only on what is working. And what will happen is, remember, commissions are mostly zero now. So if you see a stock appear and it's profitable, again, take a look at it, decide if you want to get in or not. But if it's no longer profitable, right, it will disappear. You know, what if you had to like spend 30 cents just getting in and out of it, not paying any commission with your zero trade, but just to catch the 4-point winner that eventually ends up happening. That's not a problem. And again, you can visually see, like today, you would have ended up being in roughly speaking, 3 trades, although it's set up to conservative mode. So this profitable mode does 2 things. It shows you where the winners are, and it shows you which risk management mode today is leading to the most upside. So today, because of the volatility in the market and how everything was, conservative method, meaning that you would probably have stayed into the trade less than you would think you would have, was the most profitable methodology. And so imagine this now. You've got this incredible AI, and all it's showing you is things that are winning. Well, remember, you're not going to miss it really, because as soon as it's winning, and if you like it, you can get into it. If it stops winning, you can get out of it. If it starts winning, you can get back into it. You're only going to stay in the winning trades. You still have to use risk management. There's no goose that laid the golden egg, of course. In this particular case, Brad, pull up GSL real quick. Let's just talk about this for a minute. Okay, GSL was a short at 25.74, and it went as low as 24.88. So it got over a point in what are these in 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, and look at the target was just a few pennies away.
Right. It would have exited just a few pennies, and then it turned around, and the software said, you know what? I want to get out of here because there's a lot of momentum going in the other direction, and you only got $42 in profit. This is on 100 shares, I'm assuming, right? The default?
Yeah, I haven't changed it.
Right. Put in $5,000 just so people can see, the difference.
Maybe it is 5,000. You can see my shares.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
So this is $5,000 worth per trade. So it's a small winner. But look what happened. You would have gotten stopped out and it continued higher. Reversals happen. I mean, remember, this is the stock market. These things happen. But imagine now, Brad, unfilter that to none. And visually, look at the difference between this view mode and when you have nothing selected. I mean, here your attention is focused on things that are not working because, again, you're just, I don't want to say literally distracted, but more things to look at is more things to look at. And in this particular case,
Similar here as well, right? The short
yeah,
almost hit the target, decided to get out at a flat rather than take the loser.
right. But the point being here is that when it was working, you would have seen it. And as soon as it stops working, number one, you can see the P&L change and everything like that. Remember, at one point, the P&L was green. I'm just saying, and Barry, who is the moderator of our trading room, I really suggest that you experiment with this view mode where under filter for the AI, you click on it, Brad, and select profitable trades. I think your minds will be blown. There's no losing day in this scenario. There isn't. You're basically filtering now, not just the AI is doing all this filtering for statistical data, but you're now filtering the AI to show you only stuff that's working. And remember, mistakes will be made, but your focus, right, is on where should you be focused. This is it right here. Brad, I think this is done for me.
Yeah, no, I think we covered a tremendous amount today. Again, the real thing, guys, please upgrade your software. There's no reason to be on an older version. We test this stuff every single day, and we've got a team of people that are banging away on it. So I definitely recommend you take advantage of all the latest functionality that we put out there.
Let's go back to the PowerPoint and finish it up.
Let's do it.
Okay, we talked about the racing. You guys know, so we lowered our prices for trade ideas because we were able to, utilize technology to help us on the server side. So now this is the new price schedule. And as I say before, if you cannot afford $7.50 a day, you should not be using the software. That's the most expensive version, premium, paid monthly. If that's difficult for you, this is the wrong game for you mentally. Okay. Let's move on. Our support, as I mentioned before, is bar none. Great team of support specialists who know the software better than Brad and I. Trade-ideas.com/live. There's webinars, there's support session. Our YouTube channel has all the information that you could possibly want. I highly recommend everybody checks that out. But the best support in the business, you'll see it for yourself. Barry, who's been helping us with the trading room, is of course also expert user of Trade Ideas, constantly showing you trades and different aspects of the game. He has his own channel in the channel bar, and it's a great way to learn how to utilize the software. So trade-ideas.com/trading room. Sylvian wanted to know if he can ask a question. Of course, shoot. Yes, we connect with IB. You need to right now have Trader Workstation, right, Brad? I think that's.
Well, there are a couple of things, because we just released a version of our software that works with the commission-free version of IB. In that particular case, you don't need to have Trader Workstation running. But we do, I think that integration with Trader Workstation is a more robust integration. You do pay commissions with that, but I think at the end of the day, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, I mean, Sylvian, I would certainly recommend that. Most of the people here, as you saw from the survey, you can link Brokerage Plus. I mean, Brokerage Plus and IB are completely connected. So you'd trade through Brokerage Plus with the same IB account. Absolutely. That's how it works. Yes, 100%. And again, upgrade, then if you have any questions, our support will walk you through exactly how to hook it up. But as Brad was saying, we connect to IB and E-Trade right now. We're always looking for other options, but it has to do with their APIs. So that's the barrier. Yeah, you do not need to fund another account, not at all. Okay, as we said, E-Trade is another option. And this is where you can get a hold of us, our YouTube channel, our social media presence. Please like us on all the social medias. We have a TikTok. You should take a look at Trade Ideas. One of our support guys has been posting great little videos on TikTok. Like us on Facebook, Twitter, everywhere that you're around. We appreciate that. And of course, if you have any questions, always shoot us an email at info@trade-ideas.com. Scott, take it away, sir.
Yeah, I think he covered everything. So the recording will be available later on tonight or tomorrow, and everyone will get an email update tomorrow with a link to the playlist. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice afternoon.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate it.
Bye, all.